And really excited to have you, Tristan. You are a superstar. And just a little bit about Tristan, you guys. He is the CEO of Lab Coat Agent. As we know, he is an international speaker. He has so much value, you guys, that he is going to provide today. Make sure you take notes. He's all about systems and applications, so you guys want to write these things down, okay? Also, Rod has a little something to say, so.
I just wanted to, Tristan, thank you very much for coming on. It's great to have you on. C21 All-Stars and Lab Coat Agents, what a great fit. I just wanted to say, because Tristan also is involved with Agent Advance, just a quick announcement. Joe, thank you for the introduction formally to Mike Ferry and to Agent Advance. Agent Advance put together a enterprise relationship with Mike Ferry this week, where Mike Ferry will be the Agent Advance and Coaching Advance coach for Agent Advance on a national basis, and he will be making that announcement at his summit next week. So Joe, thank you for that.
Thank you, everyone. Big things happening. Tristan, take it away.
Thanks for having me. Thank you, Michelle and Rod. Appreciate it. Joe, Richard, thank you so much for having me again this morning. And I love Mike. We had Mike Ferry on Lab Coat Agents yesterday, and we were talking about some amazing stuff. So if you want to see what he's got to say recently, take a look at that. And I love Century 21, by the way. I was with Century 21. Last award that I got was a double Centurion, and I still have my yellow jacket from way back in the day. So props to C21. I love your CEO too. So let's get right into it. For me, this whole COVID thing started the day the NBA canceled, and that was March 11th. And I was like, oh, this is getting pretty serious at this point. And so I stood back and I thought, well, you know, I'm about to go and speak in Spain to a tech company out there. And I'm traveling probably like once a week all over the nation. And I think, okay, let's take a step back. I think the traveling thing's probably going to have to be put in the backseat. And I thought, well, you know, I've never been through this before, this possible thing that could happen. So let's reach out to some of the smartest people that I know and see what they're going to be doing, how they're handling the situation. So instead of relying on things that I thought were going to work out the way I thought were going to work out, I took a step back. I went through my phone and I found all the CEOs and executives and best-selling authors that I know, and I texted them that night. So I reached out to the CEO of C21. He was one of them. CEO of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Keller Williams, EXP, everybody you've ever heard of on the CEO level. Reached out to best-selling authors and reached out to some of my executive friends at Facebook just to see how they were going to handle this. And the surprising thing to me was this. Everybody I talked to at an extremely high level said, I don't know what's going to happen next, but we're going to make it as clear as possible, the steps that we need to take. None of them said, whoa, I don't know what the hell's going to happen. None of them put up their hands and said, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just going to give up. Let's go in a little ball and get scared and go into the corner and fear everything. I think the biggest challenge in our world, real estate, not real estate related, just talking about you humans, is your mind. And you're going to be able to hear that everywhere you go to talking to leaders. And here's the thing. I want to start off with talking to you about the self-talk that we have. And if you listen to the conversation that I had with Mike Ferry yesterday, we brought that up. And I remember Mike sitting on the stage like 10 years, 11 years back. And he said this, and it always stuck with me. He said, every time I have a negative thought come through, I don't give it more than 3 minutes in my mind. And then I let it go. He's conditioned his mind to be able to do that because he knows everyone that's listening here and everyone across the world, we all share things, and that's feelings, emotions, right? All of us get angry. All of us get sad. All of us get happy. We all share those emotions. And to think that we don't have negative self-talk on a daily basis, means that you're not being real with yourself. So let's do this. We all have conversations with ourselves that say along the lines of, "Ooh, that was stupid. Why is this happening to me? I just can't take this anymore. Why is everybody against me?" And those are the dangerous thoughts if you let them sink in, because everyone has those. And we don't talk enough about that in real estate, but they damage us. Because here's the thing, we're always comparing ourselves with other people. There's just no way around it. It's a good thing and it can be a bad thing too. Like, it's a beautiful thing to be inspired by other people, to look at them and say, wow, that person did absolutely amazing. I wonder what I can do similar to get to that stage. Instead of saying, damn it, that person again, why not me? And that's the difference in the mindset and approach when we're talking about competition, right? So that negative self-talk is going to reflect on who you are on the outside. And people get it. People are going to be looking at you like, there's something about this person that I just don't like. Everything is always negative. Everything is just going the wrong way every time. And then all of a sudden, people don't want to work with you. And you wonder, well, why didn't I get that listing? Well, why does this buyer not want to work with me? And it goes deeper. We don't take care of the language that we're using. One thing that you have to notice, and I learned this when I was in law school, one of my contracts professors said, Tristan, as attorneys, we're wordsmiths. What we say and how we construct what we say matters deeply. And it always reflects on me. And I think, well, it's the same thing in real estate. You know, all this time you hear, oh, scripts and dialogues and all, guess what? It matters. Rather than relying on your own words to figure out how you're going to talk to that for sale by owner when you call them, hi, this is Tristan with Century 21, and I saw that your house was for sale. Is it still for sale? I mean, what kind of script is that? But yet that's how we approach scripting and dialogue, right? Instead of relying on the words that we use to go deeper. And so change the way you talk to other people and avoid phrases like this. Oh, I'm always like this. Oh, that's the way I do things. I'm sure Joe and Richard hear it all the time. That's just the way I do it. It's just, it's just the way I do it. Oh, social media, that's not for me. No, door knocking? Psh, no way. That's super dangerous because that sticks to your psychology. What happens is your brain starts identifying that isn't for you. And then you want to get scientific into this, which the reticular activating system, which is short RAS for short, RAS. That's your filter. That identifies what it is that you're going to focus on for the day and what you're not going to focus on for the day. And so when you're repeatedly saying things like, that's not for me, well, the brain's saying, okay, that's not for them. And when you say, well, why does this always happen to me? Then the brain says, oh, you know what? It does seem to always happen to him. Let's filter everything like that. So you see, it's not, gurus are going to call it the law of attraction because they can't explain it, but I'm explaining it to you scientifically. It's called the reticular activating system. You attract what you think of because that's the way our brain is designed. We have up to 80,000 thoughts in a day. How do we filter them? Our brain is designed to filter them through the reticular activating system. And so the language that you use on a daily basis matters. This is why I'm very careful in listening to people when I'm talking to them and they're talking back to me. If I feel at any point that they're negative, I'm like, ooh, I'm zoning out. I'm just going to go talk to somebody else. And I'm probably not going to come back to you and talk to you again. And so your clients are doing this as well, but they do it subconsciously. And so now you're changing the way that you talk, right? Change that. I've always done it like this. Well, if you've always done it like this, you're never going to progress. And we all can progress and level up. Here's the key. You make a habit of talking about the good things in your life, because the last thing you want to do is, if I ask Richard or Joe, hey, Richard, how's your day? The last thing I want to hear is, oh, my day, Tristan? Oh my gosh. I don't even know where to start. It was terrible. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. My coffee spilled. My wife yelled at me. My dog almost ate my foot. I just don't, it's terrible. And Richard, I have no idea if you're married or you have dogs. I was just throwing that out there, buddy. So look, the point is, nobody wants to talk to somebody that's negative, because it sticks with you throughout the whole day, right? So instead, focus on the positive things. And you know that the best state of being as a human being is a state of gratitude. And I learned that as a child at church. You don't have to learn that outside in the world. A state of gratitude. I mean, how religious is that? A state of gratitude means you wake up and you're thankful for what you have. Instead of looking at so-and-so and this person over here's success and looking at it as a point of envy and saying, damn, Joe again? You look at it differently. And this is the third one. You let it inspire you, because you have a growth mindset. You look at it like this, and this is the biggest difference. Pay attention to this one, write it down, because you're going to use it for the rest of your life if you haven't heard of it already. That's this. A fixed mindset feels threatened by the success of others. And a growth mindset is inspired by the success of others. There's a massive difference in the way you live your life. You see somebody succeed, you congratulate them, you really wish them well. And how hard is that? In some cases, it's tough. But the difference is this, and the last time I spoke to Michelle, I said, hey, Michelle, pick up the book called Mindset by Carol Dweck. She's the leading psychologist and in mindset, just mindset in general. She wrote the book called Mindset. So if you want, pick it up. She goes over exactly what a growth mindset looks like, what a fixed mindset looks like, based on research. So it's none of this junk that's made up, right? Think of this, though, when it comes to a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. For the longest time, so I started my speaking career, speaking for Realtor.com. And I was converting at a really high level online leads. And they called me up. They said, Tristan, come over. You're doing such a great job. I didn't even know I was in the same building they were in Westlake Village. Come on over, speak, right? And come over, tell us what you're doing. And I said, okay, I'll tell you what I'm doing. Here's how I am. I do this and that, and this is how I convert online leads. And they said, whoa, you do this and that? Everybody says they suck. What makes them different with you? Well, I go, the approach. And so what I learned over the years is this, is that the mindset matters so much when you're talking to your clients. Your mindset matters so much that it'll determine whether or not the leads that you're calling are good or bad. Because instead of you, I'm just going to pick on somebody on my screen. Joey, I see you, Joey, on this end. You're calling up a lead online and you call them up and you're like, hey, this is Joey with Century 21. You just visited our website to search for homes. I'm just seeing what questions you might have. And they're like, oh, Joey, we're just looking. And you're like, okay, thanks. Have a good day. Versus, and then you go turn around, Joey, and Joey, you may be absolutely amazing and killing it, but you may turn around and say, oh, well, that was a sucky lead, right? Versus you, Joey, with an awesome mindset, calling them up saying, hey, this is Joey with Century 21. I'm calling to see how you're doing. You've just visited our website through Google, and I want to see how we can help you out. Oh, you know what? I'm just looking. Instead, because they always say that, you have a sharp mindset. You're like, well, you know what? It's funny because I'm always shopping online too for homes on the beach, and it's probably going to be like 2-3 years before I purchase one. But look, I don't want to spam you. What homes can I send your way? What are you looking for? And all of a sudden it changes, right? So this is why I start with mindset first, because your mindset will determine the quality of conversations you have with your clients, whether you're door knocking, open house, online leads, relationships, past clients, sphere, everybody. But we don't take time to work on our mindset, right? And remember, with the growth mindset, you embrace challenges. Like, we're all going to have challenges. I have them every day. I have tough conversations every day and challenges all day. But instead of saying, oh my gosh, this is terrible, I look at it as an opportunity for growth, because I know as soon as I'm done, I'm going to be growing from it. And the harder it is, here's Grant Cardone. So I got to speak on stage with Grant, and then we spoke off stage as well. Grant tells me, Tristan, what is Lab Coat Agents? So I explained to him everything about Lab Coat Agents. And then he goes, okay, well, Tristan, then I ask him a few questions. I go, dude, what is this and that and this and that? He goes, forget all that crap, Tristan. And I go, okay, this goes typical Grant Cardone, forget everything, do this. And so he goes, I want you to remember one thing off of everything I said on stage. And I'm glad that you have an amazing community. I go, what is that? He's like, I want you to remember that people are going to talk crap behind your back all the time, because they just don't have the growth mindset. And you can't worry about what other people talk behind your back about you. You're going to do things that benefit you. And as long as you're doing good for you and those around you, don't worry about everybody else. And I think we worry a lot about what other people say about us. And it's a challenge. I mean, it's a real challenge out there. Like, what's so-and-so going to say if I do this? Or what's so-and-so going to say if I do that? But at the end of the day, they're not going to pay your bills, are they? Are they going to go prospect for you? Are they going to call your past clients? No. It's up to you. It's up to you to do that. And that leads me to the next one, which is surround yourself with people that have the mindset that you need. You already know this, but the thing is, you're not consistent about it. I mean, I don't have to remind you that you can pick up any book and you get the best thoughts of those people inside of the book. How amazing is it that we actually live in a world where we have so many books coming out that talk about things that we need to learn, and then just read it and then learn. We see the best of those people in those books. Same with podcasts, same with webinars. And if you've got a coach, a coach. But all this information is free out there. And yet we don't take the time to surround ourselves with people that are absolutely doing better than we are. And it baffles me why. Because we all have the same access to everyone. You want to listen to Gary Vee? Go online. Oh, you don't like that he curses so much? Go to somebody else. There's somebody for everyone. You just have to go out and find it and stop making excuses as to why you haven't got to where you are, because it's all up to you. Books, audiobooks, podcasts, articles, webinars, YouTube. You got it. And if I found anything to be true over the last 5 years in this journey of going from a real estate agent to entrepreneur to owning multiple different multi-million-dollar companies, is this. Is that no matter what you do, it's the people you surround yourself with that makes the difference. The people you surround yourself with will either lift you up or bring you down. They will either be the ones that help pull you up when you're stuck, or in some cases, I've had people push me up, be like, you got to do this. It's not those people that are so petty about the smallest thing and just they can't even say congratulations to you over things that are happening in your life because they just can't live with that inside of them. They can't be looking at Joe and Richard and be like, Joe and Richard, dude, you guys are absolutely destroying the competition. Great job. And I love to see that. And it inspires me to do better. I want to pick up the phone and call Joe, call Richard and say, Joe, Richard, what are you guys doing that you're absolutely doing a great job? I want to know more about that. Is there anything that I can put into my business practice that can make it happen? Instead of going behind their backs and going, Joseph and Richard, they just got lucky. I don't even know what they're doing. They're probably doing something weird out there. Who knows what? That all comes from envy. That all comes from selfishness. That all comes from being uncomfortable with the fact that you're not doing enough for your business. And that's tough to hear because we're all not doing enough. I can guarantee you look right now, you can do way more than what you're doing right now. How many times have I been broken down and gone to my wife? It's like, oh, honey, this is a lot. I've had so many breakdowns and realizing I can't take anymore. I can't take anymore. And then all of a sudden, the next month I could take more. The body and the mind have to get used to the workload, not just physically, but mentally. It's a consistent process. The more you do, the more you'll get used to it. That's just the way we work as humans. But if we don't do it, we get comfortable with what? We get comfortable with doing the same thing we're doing every day, which is, I don't know what half of you are doing. And look, I lead the largest community of real estate agents in the world. So I get to see it all, right? I get to see the greatness and I also get to see the crap. And when you see it, you're like, makes sense. But I choose to lead people by example. And one thing that I want to remind you of before we switch over to the technology side of this is that it's your responsibility, it's your duty, not just as a real estate agent. Forget that, put that aside a little bit. It's your duty, your responsibility as a human being to lead by example. And if I'm not doing the best job I can for my family on a daily basis, like I stay up at night because of this. I think through things over and over. Am I doing the best job possible as a parent? Like I go through this. I'm like, whoa, wait a second. That I shouldn't have reacted that way to my daughter. Ooh, I should have spent a little bit more time with my son. Am I doing my job as a father to make sure that my son and my daughter are growing up to be better human beings than me? Because that's what we're here for. We want to shorten this learning curve that everybody goes through to be better human beings. But we forget that because we get really selfish. But when we look at one another, we must inspire each other to do better. When I look at Joe and Richard, I have to be like, wow, that's awesome. I love that they're doing this, they're doing that, they're doing this. That inspires me to do better. It gives me hope that there's possibility for me to get there. But you never know who's paying attention. You never know who you're inspiring that day. And we forget that we have that duty. We forget that. And that's at the most basic level. But if you wake up and you have a routine and you're like, got it, I'm going to work on my mind. I'll give you my routine really quick. I have it on every morning. I have it right next to me. I have a checklist. This is an actual checklist with questions. All right. And I'll go through it really quick with you. This is my morning one because I have an evening one too. Morning, first thing I do, meditate and pray. Okay, well, first thing I do is I go do my bathroom stuff first. Okay, let me take that back. Then when I'm ready, meditate and pray. Next, affirmations. You're like, oh, but Tristan, affirmation. I'm like, look, we already went through this. Reticular activating system, the words you use, they matter, right? They create the life that you want. Affirmations. Next, I record the previous day. I write down what happened. I write down what went through. It clears my mind. It puts everything on paper. I just want to make sure I processed all the information correctly. Next one is visualize. I visualize where I want to be 6 months from now. And it changes on the day. Sometimes I pick where I want to be physically, where I want to be mentally, where I want to be social media, where I want to be with my business, where I want to be with my wife, my kids, me as a person. It changes. But I always fast forward 6 months from now. Today, I look forward. I'm like, okay, where do I want to be February 11th, 2021? What do I need to do to get there? What are the things I'm going to do from now to there? What am I going to do this month? Next month? What am I going to do in November? Am I doing those things right now? That's how you visualize. And you learn it from the highest athletes, highest paid athletes out there. They visualize on a daily basis. Next, I exercise in the middle of the day. After like tons of years, I realized that I'm not an early morning person to work out. I wake up early, I just can't work out in the morning. And I'm not an evening person to work out. I work out in the middle of the day. That's when I do. Instead of lunch, I just jump into workout. But in the morning, just to get my blood going, I do quick exercises. So I have exercise here, and I do it for about 2 to 3 minutes. I do push-ups, sit-ups, and then I'm ready. Quick. And then the last one I have here is learn. And what I put in learn is I either read something really quick, and I'll give you an example. Sometimes I don't have time to dive deep into a book and read it for like 20, 30 minutes, maybe 40. So I have this daily, I call it daily, it's a daily stoic. It's a book, you can look it up, The Daily Stoic. And here I just go to the page that it's for the day. So today is what, September 11th, and I read it, and it's really short. But you know what I also do? I also pick up the Bible and I read Proverbs. What Proverbs am I going to read today? So I went to a Christian school, so that's like drilled into my head, right? And so I go through Proverbs and I read a few verses, same thing. And then I'm ready. And then I go into my questions, right? First question, what's my directive today? What's the message to myself that's going to guide me? Second question is this, what am I looking forward to today? Now you see, I'm looking at the positive things first because we naturally gravitate to the negative things as humans. So I want to reinforce the positive first. Next, what good can I do today? Again, what good can I do today? And then going back to gratefulness, right? Coming from an attitude of I'm grateful, serving. Who can I thank by text, call, message, social media, letter, or video? Every day, every single day, somebody receives a text, a video, some message. I'll tell you how impactful this is, because I've been doing this for a long time. That's 365 people a year that I either send a letter to, a text, a simple message, or a video. My son got one about 2 months ago. It was a little letter like this. And I said, hey, son, I want to thank you for being such a creative human being. You inspire me to have fun and to just wake up and be excited. Because my son wakes up and he's excited about anything, right? I love that. And so he keeps that letter on his bed. And that almost makes me want to cry. I'm like, that's super. This is what we're here for, to help each other grow. Next one, what will I do today that will challenge my current mindset to grow? Here's where the challenge starts. What will I do today that will challenge my current mindset to grow? Am I going to do something that pushes me? This is why, I'll give you an example. This is why I went on TikTok. You're like, TikTok? I'm like, yeah, damn it, TikTok. I'm like, I've been pushing off TikTok. I joined TikTok like 2 years ago, but it was all dancing and comedy. And I was like, I can't dance and I'm not funny. So I can't do this, right? Again, going back to that negative talk. I just can't, it's not me. I can't do it. Yeah, I was wrong. So over the weekend, Labor Day weekend on Thursday, I'm like, okay, I'll do this. It's the thing that's on my thing to do. It's what will I do today that will challenge my current mindset to grow? Fine, I'll do short videos. And I'm going to talk about this soon, a short video part. And so I did a tutorial, a simple 60-second tutorial on the Osmo 4. You know what? It's a gimbal, right? Gimbal, you can use it, Osmo 4. And in 4 days, I had 550,000 views, 40,000 comments, and it's just going insane. And I went viral off of a gimbal tutorial. I had DJI, the company, reach out to me, want to give me DJIs and continue to promote it. I'm like, what the hell just happened? I don't know what happened. What happens is every day, I'm pushing myself to do something that I'm uncomfortable with, that I know is good for me. That's the difference. Next two questions here. What might I struggle with today and how will I deal with it? Whoa, check this out. Check how deep this out. And guys, these questions aren't just questions I came up with in a day. These are questions that I sent to CEOs, executives. They went through them and said, this is a good question, Tristan, keep this one. These are people that run billion-dollar companies and million-dollar companies, right? And they said, keep these. This one right here was one of their favorites. What might I struggle with today and how will I deal with it? Imagine asking yourself that every day. Well, let's see, today, today I have to call my past clients and I'm not the greatest at it, right? I don't even want to pick up the phone, but how am I going to deal with it? Well, I set an hour. I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to do it then. I'm probably going to practice a little bit, what to say, how to go over it so I feel comfortable, right? That's how I'm dealing with it. The problem is we know things are going to happen. It's like you're dreading it. Maybe it's a conversation you're going to have with a seller, a buyer. Something happened. Something went south on an inspection. You're dreading this. The thing is, we don't plan on how we're going to solve it. We just worry about it. We worry and we worry and we worry and we get anxiety and stress. We can't sleep. This helps you put it right in your face and asks you, how are you going to solve this challenge? Next one. What have I been delaying that I need to work on and place into my schedule? Oh man, this is every day for me. And so if I don't do the same thing over the span of 5 days, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. I get it. I'm talking to myself here. I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. I've been delaying this. I'll finally do it. I'll finally do it. And then the last one, so simple, but so powerful. How do I want to feel today? Do we even ask ourselves that on a daily basis? Because it's our choice. How do you want to feel today? Do you want to feel like crap? Do you want to be angry, sad, upset, anxious, stressed? Because I see that every day. But we have the choice. You have the choice. You have the choice every single day how you wake up. How do you wake up? How do you choose to feel? I choose to feel excited because I choose to focus on things that excite me. I choose to feel gratitude and I'm grateful for the opportunities that I have. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to have problems. I choose to be grateful to have past clients. I choose to be grateful to understand technology so that I can work on my strengths. I choose to be happy that I'm alive, that I can continue to grow and make some difference in my little niche, in my little world. That's how I choose to live. Now with that, I want to transition over to tech. And the reason I took so long on mindset was because I've experienced this firsthand, and that people will tell you that technology sucks. Leads suck. Oh, this CRM sucks. Oh, door knocking sucks. Oh, this sucks. Everything sucks. I don't even know how you live if everything sucks. But here's the thing. You're looking at it the wrong way. Everyone's looking at it to see what's next. Oh, what's next? Ooh, this is a cool toy. Let's pick that up. But you can't look at it like that. You got to look at it and say, well, what's my strength? This is what I tell my agents here. What is my strength? Ask yourself that question. What are you great at? What are you having success at right now? And in the last 12 months, look at the revolving 12 months and say, where did most of your business come from? Did it come from your sphere? Did it come from past clients? Did it come from wherever? And then you look at the technology out there and see how you can apply that to it. And that's why I always start with recently, you look at technology and you look at Dare through Facebook and Instagram, dynamic ads for real estate. You may want to write this down. So I'm a consultant at Facebook. I consult them directly and I have a meeting with them every week. So when they introduce anything into the real estate world, they ask me, we talk about it, we go over it, and then they present it to the world through us and through other companies. But now, yesterday I was on the phone with them for about 30 minutes going over Zillow, Realtor.com, and other things. But you look at this Dare, dynamic ads for real estate, which they just changed the name to real estate ads. This is how it works, and this is why you need it. Regardless of where your business is coming from, past clients, sphere, new, old, this retargets them. You go on Amazon, you find this awesome pair of shoes, and what happens? They follow you everywhere. Outside of Amazon, in Amazon, on all the blogs, everywhere. I feel like I get texts somehow. I don't even know what you know what? I always feel like my phone is listening to me too. Like I'm talking and then all of a sudden it pops up on my phone. I'm like, that's a whole different story because they all deny it, but I know it's true. They're listening to us. All right. So now you look at Dare, and Dare, this is how you use it for past clients. We all have a database. It can be a small database. It can be a large database. It doesn't matter. The point is to put them into this Dare program because now they're going to be retargeted. I'm going to choose Joey. Joey, you just happen to be like on my screen over here. So I'm going to keep on using you, Joey. Joey, let's say you have 1,000 past clients and you're going to dump them into Facebook and Instagram. Why Facebook? Oh, I always get this question. Why Facebook? I'm going to just show you why Facebook because some of you may not believe me unless I actually show it to you and then I'll go back. Where's my screen here? I think I can share it. Let me check. Yeah, I can. Perfect. I'm going to show you why Facebook. Tell me if you guys can see that. Rod, Michelle, can you see that? Just nod your head yes. All right, perfect. This is a report that came out 7 weeks ago. So new by Facebook. It's one report that they do specifically for real estate. They just started this 2 years ago. And so you have, check this out, 217 million Americans go on Facebook at least once a month. That's 70% of the population of the United States. That's insane. And then you have 168 million Americans use Facebook every day. And then they spend an hour and 15 minutes a day on it. That to me, hands down, I understand why Facebook. I understand why Instagram. You Google the most visited websites in the world. Number 1 is Google. Number 2 is YouTube. Number 3, number 4, sometimes Facebook alternates. Now, this is why we retarget them on Facebook and Instagram because they're there. Our past clients. I mean, look, I've got a database of almost 100,000 people in there. So we're retargeting them with an IDX feed. So as soon as, let's say, Joey, you're doing the same thing, your clients are going through and they're like, oh, there's Joey. Oh, and some property, cool. Click it. As they engage, this is the dynamic part about it. This is the automatic nurture, right? This is the AI working. As they click on it, now the machine says, oh, Joey's client just searched for a 500,000 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. Looks like they're continually doing that. Well, the next time they show up, you're going to get more of the same thing without you doing a single thing. Now Joey's nurturing them with properties they love, properties they like, without him doing a single thing, both on Instagram and on Facebook. That's what Dare is. That's what dynamic ads for real estate is. So now that's what you have to be looking for and saying, well, how can I use that for my business, for my sphere, for my past clients, for a farm, for expired listings, for sale by owners? You can use this for everything. You just have to know that it exists, right? Now, let's talk about video conferencing. All of us are doing video conferencing, Zoom, Blue Jeans, Skype. But I want to just do a little tweak on that. I was interviewing Ryan Serhant for $1 Million Listing New York. And he said one thing that really stuck out with me. He's like, look, Tristan, I was talking to a client and we're so used to just picking up the phone and calling them or just texting them. But sometimes that deep connection gets lost in translation. So he goes, what I do is if it's a difficult conversation and for any reason I can't meet them in person, I pick up my phone and I FaceTime them. And what happens is because they're seeing me, I have a deeper connection with me. They're not going to be angry texters. They're not going to hopefully yell at me over the FaceTime, right? And all of a sudden I can get my point across a little better. So psychologically it becomes deeper. So just think of it in that approach. Don't just think of these tools that we have as places that you're going to do presentations at, or online buyer presentations, online seller presentations, or anything like that. Think of it as a way to connect with your clients a little deeper. If you're going to have a conversation that requires a little bit more, you being a little bit more astute about the situation or careful, pick up the phone and do a FaceTime or Zoom. You'll connect a lot deeper. So that's what I want to do. Now, write these down because some of these are really good for you. These are video apps that I love, video apps that I use currently. Number one is Vlog Easy, V-L-O-G, Vlog Easy, E-A-S-Y. They won second place in the, we had a big tech conference last December in Las Vegas that we teamed up with Keller Williams out there in Las Vegas to do it. And we had a whole mess load of tech companies come by. Well, Vlog Easy got second. And it's a really great app. You can be in front of a property. You can be anywhere. You're just recording yourself. Once you're done, it edits it. It takes out all of the ums and pauses that you had. So it makes it look super clean, like an actual vlog. So take a look at Vlog Easy. Next one that I love, well, BombBomb, I'm not even going to go into that. Big View, B-I-G-V-U. This one's, they just recently changed and made it a lot better. I'll tell you why. A lot of us have a challenge when it comes to recording video on knowing what to say, because we're in front of it and we're like, and then you forget. And you're like, I have to start all over, or I suck at this, right? Which is, I hear it a lot. Big View, you type in what you're going to say. Type it in so you know exactly what to say. So let's say Joey, because he's again in front of my screen. Joey's typing in, hi, I'm in front of 123 Palm Street, and I want to show you all these great features. Type that all in. Well, Big View is like a teleprompter. Once he's typed it all in, clicks go, it just goes through. And slowly. So now Joey's reading it, and it looks like he's looking directly into the camera, and he's saying what he needs to say. Once he's done, it records, and you can use that captioning that you just wrote as subtitles. And it's all there. How easy is that on Big View? You can use that for Facebook, YouTube. If it's short enough, you can even use it on TikTok or Instagram for your Instagram feed. So take a look at that. Last is Vemly, spelled V-E-M-E-L-Y. And I love that one because it allows me to have this box on the top of my video, and I can put a big giant captioning so I can tell people what the video is about. Or I can put it at the bottom. If you've seen any of Gary Vee's or Grant Cardone's videos, it's the same thing, and it does it like that. So Vemly is a really, really good app. All right, let's go into talking about what's happening in the next 6 months to a year. We're looking at foreclosures going up. Of course, they're going to come up. So you need to be preparing for that. Not as bad as before, obviously, because a lot of people have equity. If you want more information on that, go to Keeping Current Matters. They have a great blog, and it shows you what that looks like so you don't freak out. But look, there are foreclosures coming, short sales. And so we need to understand what that world looks like. So I suggest that you sign up for anything like Realty Track. Realty Track is spelled R-E-A-L-T-Y, and track is simple. It's T-R-A-C. It has no K, Realty Track. Take a look at them. Gives you notice of defaults and gives you all that information on these properties. Or I'm assuming you can go to, everybody remember, Joe and Richard, I'm assuming you guys were in the last crash too, right? So just nod your heads. There are other sources. You can go to Joe and Richard and they can tell you. I know Property Radar was one we used back in 08, 07. So there are a few other ones you need to take a look at on that. Now, let's see how much time I have. Good. I'm going to wrap it up with a few little things here, tech-wise. if you run a team or you're aspiring to run a team and you need help with online leads coming through, I get about 2,000 online leads coming through a month. And so I obviously scaled up to that slowly. It wasn't like, oh, 2,000, here we go. What we brought in were tools that help us with some of the automation so that they get texts back, or there's an AI involved, or there's a real human being that picks up the phone and calls them and nurtures them, right? So we have Conversion Monster. It's an ISA company based out of New York. And all of their ISAs are here in the United States. I know some people say, well, they can't be in the Philippines, they can't be anywhere else. Well, these are all in the United States. Conversion Monster, what they do, as soon as a lead comes through, they call them up. If it's a sign call, if it's an online lead, whatever, they call them up and they nurture them for 11 months for you. Now, if you want to use an automated type texting tool, you've got Agent Legend or Shout Boss. Those are both great. And I want to just go over, just in case you don't understand, how Facebook lead ads, Google PPC, and Realtor.com and Zillow work. I want to give you a quick rundown of a funnel so it stays in your head so you understand the quality of these leads and which ones I use. So let's go with a funnel upside down triangle, right? Funnel open at the top, short at the bottom. At the very top of these online leads, you're looking at Facebook lead ads. Facebook lead ads, they pop up in Joey's feed. Joey's like, oh, I like this property. Oh, cool, take a look at it. Very passive. Joey wasn't thinking about looking at property. It just popped up in front of him on Instagram or Facebook, right? And this is why they're top of funnel. We don't know where they're at, right? We can get a ton of them for like $6 a lead around there. But you're gonna have to call a lot. And you're gonna have to go through and filter a ton before you get the right ones. They're still great, but you need a process and system to make it happen. That's top of funnel. Now, middle funnel, you're looking at Google PPC. That's Google pay-per-click. People are paying attention to Facebook, but let me tell you, Google PPC is better. #1 most visited website in the world, Google, right? Next, when you go and search for property, I'm in Malibu, I cover the Malibu area. People type in Malibu homes for sale around Pepperdine University, right? That's what they type. Now, all of a sudden, Joey, you're typing that into Google. That has a lot of intention versus you scrolling on Facebook and Instagram and finding a property, right? You're now looking at Google and saying, well, let's see, Malibu, homes for sale, close to the beach. Boom, done. Intent. When I pick up the phone, Joey, I call you, and you're like, yeah, I was looking at homes there. So cost per lead, $10 to $12 a lead. If you're looking at the next level of PPC, which is pay-per-click Google, look at Google pay-per-click 2.0, and that's coming from a local company close to us in Santa Monica called YLOPO, Y-L-O-P-O. They're the only company that runs Google PPC 2.0. So look at them, because what's the difference between old PPC and new PPC? I'll tell you. Google PPC typically runs 500 keywords, 500 keywords. Google PPC 2.0 runs 100,000 keywords per area. That's a massive difference in the quality. And it takes out the ones that aren't working and puts in the right ones. Next on the funnel, you got Realtor.com and Zillow. Yes, they're the most expensive. I mean, in my area, I'm looking at $200 a lead. That's a lot in comparison to $10 to $12 a lead. But they also convert at a higher rate, right? So if you've got the money and you're using it, you have the tools and systems, use it, right? Realtor.com and Zillow work. For me, the great middle spot for me is Google. I can get more of them, more to convert, higher quality conversations, and it's just more cost efficient. This is online leads. And remember, all of everything I just shared with you is based on relationships. If you suck at making relationships, you're going to suck at this business, right? And you're going to suck at life too. Just remember, everything stems from that. You've got to be kind to each other. And that's where I'm going to end. Kindness, I mean, without that, you're going to have nothing. You can be the most amazing real estate agent in the world, but you're a total mean person to other people. And people remember that, because when I come across you and you're submitting an offer to me, I'm going to be like, oh, that agent, it wasn't that great working with you last time, right? And I'll leave you with that. Any questions you have, please type them into the chat or just, I guess, unmute yourselves and I can answer them right here.
Since nobody's asking a question, Tristan, I'm going to ask you because somebody asked me, hey, ask him where he got that shirt. I like it. What is that about?
That's funny. Well, it's Hollywood Title, man. Richard, it's called Hollywood Title. It's a company that my family just bought into. So thanks for asking, Richard. Appreciate it. All right. Any other questions we got out there?
Roger. Roger has a question. Go ahead,
What's up, Roger?
What do you think a good ad spend for a realtor, or like just maybe one person or a team? Not a team, but just one person, an assistant for Zillow and Realtor.com. What would be a good dollar spend?
You said one assistant and you're by yourself?
Yeah.
All right. So I probably would recommend you off of Realtor.com. Here's a secret with Realtor.com, and it's a challenge. With Realtor.com or Zillow, what you're going to start seeing massive results the more you spend, unfortunately.
For sure.
So I wouldn't recommend spending anything under, probably anything under $2,000. And I know it sounds really high, but when you're looking at Realtor.com and Zillow, that's just the way it works, man. Unfortunately, I was spending, hold on to your pants here, $40,000 a month on Realtor.com and $20,000 a month on Zillow. That was my spend for each. Was the return there?
So is that 2K? Is that what?
It was.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. With the 2K, is that also like an ad? Because you would need like.
You would have to do different. So if you're going to do both, I'd do Realtor.com or Zillow, $2,000 each. And then I'd probably spend another $1,000 on Google PPC. And I'd probably have either Ylopo running it or Chime running it, one of the two, only because they understand Google AdWords really well in our area. But that's what I recommend. Now, if you're looking at your area, I'm probably thinking, look, in my area, it's down to about $12 a lead, Google PPC, $6 around Facebook. So your area, I would think it'd be a little bit less, maybe $8. You can probably get away with $8 a lead on Google PPC and maybe $4 a lead on Facebook lead ads. So if you've got the systems in place to automatically text and call people, because it's just you, one of the challenges you're going to have at $1,000 spend is being able to reach out to all these people, right? So you're going to have systems in place. I would recommend, if you can't hire an ISA, an actual person to call up, or you're too busy to call up yourself routinely over and over and over again, I would probably bring up Agent Legend. So Agent Legend is something you can put in place that will automatically text, drop voicemails, emails, video emails, and so forth. So pick up Agent Legend, do Google ads if you're going to do that. And you can use both Google ads and Agent Legend for past clients and Sphere too. So you can circle around people.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
I got one, Richard. Hey, Christian, Jovi,
All right.
first of all, thanks a lot. Hey,
What's up, Joe?
Hey, how are you? The agents that you're working with now throughout the country, what's the #1 activity, prospecting activity you're seeing that's working at a higher level during the COVID process time period?
#1 thing is relationships, like hands down across the board. It's the relationships, actually picking up the phone and calling up people and just listening. Here's the big challenge. We pick up the phone and most real estate agents, they start talking and they don't shut up and listen, right? Chris Voss from Never Split the Difference, right? The FBI top negotiator in the world says this. He says, interested people are interesting. And that's because you have to shut up and sound like you're interested, right? The moment you do that, all of a sudden the people that you're talking with say, wow, you know, Joey, I keep on picking on you, but Joey's listening to me. There's something different about Joey, right? He's not interrupting. He keeps on asking questions. He keeps on digging deeper because he's listening. So I think, Joe, it comes down to this. It comes down to the conversations that we're having with those people that already know us have to be deeper and they have to matter because people can identify that. Because if you weren't the one calling during COVID, It's just, and then you call back after everything's done. It's like, hey, how did COVID treat you? Right? It's a little hard to have that conversation after. So relationships right now are super key. And don't push the referrals. They know you're in real estate. They know. And even if they don't know, when they ask you, what have you been up to? Right? Well, look, I'm still working in real estate. Believe it or not, things are selling quickly, but you know, that's just the market. But look, enough about me. Tell me about your kids. You just pivoted and you just told them a little bit about real estate. If they're interested, they'll come back to you and they'll say this, everything's selling quickly? Whoa, wow, that's crazy. This just happened to us. How much is our home worth? Can you check for me? Because I'm just, like, some people are freaked out about Trump and some people love Trump, but we've been selling homes in the Valley. People are tired of living here in a liberal state. And I'm not going to be like, well, you love Trump or you don't love Trump, and I'm not going to sell your home. I don't care. My duty is to you to sell the home, right? And do an amazing job, because my duty is to all the other agents, because I want to continue this industry I want to have this industry thrive. And I don't want it to thrive based on my bias on who I'm voting for. So, Joe, it comes down to relationships and how deep those conversations are going.
Very good.
Jorge, you have a
Very good.
question, buddy? Where's Jorge at?
Unmute yourself, Jorge, and ask the question. I don't know what's going on. You know,
All right.
Can you hear me there?
There it is.
There you
What's
go.
up, Jorge?
Yeah.
All right. Hello. So since you were talking about running Facebook ads, I have a question. Now with the special ad category that you're limited to 15-mile ratios, and before you could go even narrow it to 1 mile.
True.
Also being, limited with age to avoid discrimination, you go from 18 to 65.
Yep.
How have you adapted to that change to still keep up with, good results? Or what, special, technique, or what are you doing?
That's a great question. It has to do with two things. One, it has to do with the specific ad that you're writing in. So the words that you use, where it's landing, but more importantly, when you go to the back end of Facebook and you look up, because you can no longer narrow it down to a zip code or to like a few miles or to even gender or ages or how much money they make. But you can do this. You can rely on Facebook's algorithm, and they touch on over 10,000 points. So what you do is you go to the suggested demographics here. Let me see if I can open Facebook for a minute just for you so people can understand this, so that they follow along here. And what you do is you type in Zillow. When you type in Zillow, it has everybody that's interested in Zillow, right? And because of that, it gives you other suggestions. Says, well, look, if you're looking at Zillow already, Facebook's telling you this, what about first-time home buyer? Or what about other home buyers? Click it, and they give you more suggestions. Well, what about people interested in, let's say, Gucci or Rolls-Royce? All of a sudden, now I'm going the luxury side, right? If you pick 2 to 4 categories that Facebook ad should focus on, and you let Facebook do the rest, I can guarantee that Facebook's 10,000 points plus will find you the right people. Because what it does the first 10 minutes, the algorithm throws it out and says, okay, get me some people, right? The people start getting on. Based on those people that like your ad, it starts finding other similar people to it. It's like, oh, God, I found Joey, Susanna, Michelle, David, they all liked your ad. Let me find more just like that, based on what they like on Facebook, based on where they're going, based on how they've answered certain questions online, and then they bring them all right back to you. So you let the algorithm do its work, and you'll be really happy. The thing is, you have to ABC test. Run the same ad 3 different ways. Meaning just change the back end, put one for Zillow, one for first-time home buyers, right? And then see which one of the 3 does good. Run it for 24 hours. Shut down the 2 that don't work. And don't just put $5 behind the ad. You're shooting yourself in the foot. Put minimum, put $15 per ad in those 24 hours. Shut down the other two and make the one that's working work for about 10 to 15 days. Don't make it stale because I don't want to see the same damn ad every week.
Do you usually use photos or videos for your ads?
Use both, alternate, and I would A/B test too.
Okay.
If you're going to do a video, make it no more than 15 seconds. And I would recommend if you're going to do pictures, make sure that it's more than one picture. The sweet spot is 3 to 5. 3 to 5 pictures. People love to scroll and they'll stay longer on your ad.
All right. Thank you.
And no problem, buddy.
Hey, Tristan, I have a quick question.
What's up,
Here,
David?
David. Are you able to provide us with that sheet they use every day where you have can you email it?
Definitely. You know what? I'm going to send it over to Michelle right now.
Okay.
And she can then send it over to your whole office, right?
Awesome.
It's the morning. It'll be the morning questions.
Morning questions.
Michelle,
Awesome. Thank you.
did I already send that to you before?
I don't believe so.
Oh, I'll send that one over.
Okay. Thank you, Tristan.
Good question, David. All right. Any other questions? Let me see what we got
Good morning.
here.
I have a question.
Good morning.
Good morning. So when I do a lot of retargeting, I'm just not sure if I'm doing it right. So if I'm retargeting people that have viewed my videos in the past, do you suggest 15-second or 10-second view, 25% of the video, and how often should I retarget to these
All right.
people?
Good question. So I'll explain it to everybody where you're at, Carmen. So when people watch your video through your business page, you have the option to retarget them based on how long they've watched your video. And I always suggest if you can do 50% or more, that's the key. Then you start getting quality because then you know people are spending enough time. If they see you over and over again, I say don't ruin it and spam them every day. I say every 4 to 5 days is the sweet spot, Carmen. And if you do over 50% of the watched video, those are the people that are engaged, right? Sometimes we forget that we want to cover everything and help. That's one of the mistakes I made early on when I'm like, expired listings, I'm going to take all of LA, right? And that was the biggest mistake I ever made. So same thing with you. Focus on only 50% or more, and you're going to get quality out of it.
And how long should the videos be when you're retargeting?
Look, that was one thing I didn't cover. Unfortunately, I ran out of time here. And that was that the trend that we're seeing now is 15 seconds to be that. And it's because of one thing that Snapchat created, and that was stories. Stories progressed, and then Instagram caught on to stories. They blew them up. And now TikTok created a whole platform just based off of 15-second videos. I mean, you can go up to 60 seconds, right? But I'll tell you, the video that I just did off of the gimbal that got 550,000 views so far, it was a 53-second video, and the average person watched it the average was 36 seconds. So I would probably keep it to no more than 30 seconds if you can.
Got it. Thank you.
Great question.
Thanks.
All right. Anybody else have any other questions?
Tristan, I have a question.
Shoot, Patricia.
Yes, so I'm doing something totally out of my comfort zone right now by even asking you the question.
Oh,
I'm a new agent, just joined Century 21 All-Stars this week.
Good choice.
Joined during these crazy times. I'm going to start by doing it part-time, and I wanted to know what suggestions or recommendations you had, kind of your top 3 for me.
Yeah. All right. So I always, anybody that's new, I always let them know to start with your strengths. So I always ask, well, what's your background, Patricia? What did you do for a living before?
I work for a Fortune 5 company, corporate world, project management, customer service,
Ooh,
that type of work.
All right. So you're typically great with people on the phone.
Yes.
All right. That's already a plus for me. Like I would be like, I'd be excited to work with you. So you're good with people. I would say, do you have a good sphere? Are you new to the area or have you been here for a while?
Well, I've lived in my area for 20 years, so I think I have a good sphere. My only problem is that I was one of those people that never wanted to use Facebook. I wanted to leave social media to, you know, to everyone else. So I never joined Facebook. I just joined Facebook this week, and I've been trying to add people from my contacts. So I've been on it for about 3 days, and I wanted to know, like, what should my first post be? I don't want my first post to be real estate. I want to be kind. And
I got you here. So based on what you're telling me, this is how I would proceed. I would take advantage that you just joined Facebook and that people already know you in the area and that you've been here and that you're good on the phone. I would go through my sphere, outline it. If you can, maybe hit out about 100. How many people are in your sphere? Do you know offhand, or have you not written that down yet?
Well, I have about 500 people on my phone contacts, but I started adding them in Facebook. I'm at 120 right now, just starting off.
Okay, good. Out of the 500, what I want you to do is spread them out over a few weeks and say you're going to call about 30 people a day. You're going to end up talking to about, out of those 30 that you call, they're in your sphere. So you have a higher likelihood that they'll pick up the phone. You probably talked about 10 out of the 30, right? Out of those 10, when you reach out to them, your conversation is going to go like this. Hi, this is Patricia with Century 21. Or, hey, you may know me just as Patricia Villanueva. I just joined Century 21. And I'm calling you because believe it or not, I just joined Facebook, and I just want to ask if it's okay if I can add you as my friend. I just want to ask you out of nowhere to be my friend. And then that conversation is going to go other places, Patricia. And that's where you're just going to have to sit back and listen. Or it can start off simple as in, hey, I'm calling Richard. I'd be like, hey, Richard, it's Patricia. It's been a long time since I talked to you, but I just recently switched careers and I'm reaching out to my whole sphere just to let them know. And then surprise, I'm on Facebook. Right? So try to make it as easygoing as possible. So it's not something that feels out of your comfort zone. Try to push it into what you're already good at. And since you're already good on the phone, I'm assuming you're going to come up with a great dialogue to be able to bring that together. But the idea is to call about 30 people a day until you get through your sphere, connect that to Facebook somehow, letting them know that you're going to friend request them, right? And let them know that you just also switched careers. Because the first question you're going to get from most people is like, oh, wow, how's the market right now? Right? And then that's the opportunity you're going to have to let them know how the market is doing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, who's got another question?
Okay, well, it looks like you gave them so much information, they're just soaking it in, Tristan. You know, it was great. I want to thank Michelle and Rod for having you on, because it's not often that we get to meet a CEO of such a company, as such a company as yours. So we got to know you a little bit. So now we can say, hey, we know the CEO of Lab Coat Agents, okay? And a lot of great information. I took notes. I hope everybody took notes. But